And September 11th has two very significant meanings for me. One is the terrible and tragic loss of life that we experienced on September 11th, and not so many years ago, and the wounds that the violence left on the families, on the communities, and on the nation. The second memory that I have of September 11th is the day I enlisted in the United States Air Force. It was actually the day that I raised my right hand and swore to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States and be a part of the American Defense Force. And I'm proud of that day. But there's a third event that happened. At the expense of his own life, Charlie Kirk decided to live out his mission, to be true to himself, to be true to his calling in life, to use the incredible talent and skill he had for shedding light on things, bringing truth into a situation, and bringing out the moral reason behind the cause or the activity or the wrong that was being done in the world. And he wasn't willing to step into the shadows and just stay hidden. But he said, you know what? A life well lived might just cost you your life. And yesterday he paid the ultimate price for that. And a man who's just 31 years old, 2 children, and a wife, at the same event where his life was taken. I can't imagine the suffering and the challenges that their family is facing right now. But this man lived well. And his legacy, even though his voice was silenced, goes far beyond this few years that he did his work. He impacted people all around the world. And as you and I mourn the loss of this incredible man, I would like to ask you a question. Have you defined a purpose in your life worth living for, and if necessary, dying for? I know that's a heavy question and a heavy thought, but when we see people like Charlie Kirk, who actually did that and sacrificed their life, and he was willing to be on the front lines again and again and again, knowing full well that it was dangerous, and that in the history of the United States, we've seen it multiple times when it's cost people their lives, when they stood up for what was good, right, true, honest, noble, of high moral character. While it is terribly tragic to witness his loss, I think it's an incredible reminder to all of us that taking someone's life for your own belief is not acceptable. The violence doesn't accomplish anything, and violence destroys far more. In both of these cases, in the Twin Towers and in Charlie Kirk's life, it destroys far more than it builds and creates, and it helps. Simply because you cannot beat someone in an argument doesn't mean you have the right to take their life. And I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, conservative, liberal, doesn't matter. If you can't beat them in an argument, it doesn't mean you have the right to take their life. So today, as we remember 9/11 and this tragic loss of a hero who died yesterday, doing exactly what he was called to do, doing exactly what God created him to do, let's build a world where courage is not shown through violence, but through conviction, with passion, and a willingness to live on purpose.